Hopefully you can hear me. Testing, testing. 1 2 3 1 2 3. All right. I believe we're live everywhere. Nerd Worker, what's going on? Orkin, great to have you. Can always rely on you to be the first to pop in to chat on Instagram, on YouTube. Let's have some fun, shall we? So, it's going to be a bit of a hodgepodge stream today. I'm just going to go where the wind takes me. We're going to do a bit of a peruse. Every time I get on this live, I remember the time me and my homies got jumped in a stream. Whoa, shit. My apologies for bringing those feelings up. Somewhat the opposite of what I would like to do. I wouldn't even want to be associated with that. So my apologies. Alfie, what's going on? Kevin Thurigan. Great to have you. Nerd Worker. From Instagram to YouTube. All right, so let's just cruise into this one, hey? Enhervana. My apologies for the butchering of your name. I hope you're doing good as well. Yeah, going well, Orkin. Going well. What I might mention up front, Plug City, got to do it. We've got a workshop coming up. Mentioned it last week. It's now live. Spots are bloody filling fast. I tell you what, I've got a few applications this morning that I've got to go through that I got as well. There's only a few spots available. But I also just wanted to show you this because this is what we were working on last stream. Most importantly, this guy. You restart it and it does the flicker on. I'm very pleased with that. If nothing else, I'm very pleased with the combination of coding and like painting. So yeah, all about light and value. Why value is so important and why I wish I spent more time on it. Right? It's not just doing realism here. You can go different styles. We're going to go into different styles, how they all come back to the core principles. All right? I'm in full pitch mode right now, but I don't need to. If you want to go check it out, if you want to learn from me, there's a few different tiers available. You got sit-in, you've got the workshop where you get assignments and I do critiques, and then you've got I believe there's only one mentor, or not, like one-on-one seat available where you get 3 1-hour sessions with me to talk about your art, do paint overs, or really whatever you want, right? Whatever you think is going to be the most useful. So there's only one of those left. So go check it out. Links in the description. Let's get back to the stream. For all those that have applied already, you're bloody legends. It's actually been fantastic preparing for this. I've just been sharpening the sword. Just been sharpening the sword of you get a sneak preview of a post that's coming out later tonight. Anyway. Just sharpening the sword of light and value. You can never get too much practice with this stuff, you know. I appreciate you, Orkin. Nerd Worker, greetings from Peru. I bought your plugin. It's great, fantastic. You know what I did see? I did see. I was doing a little bit of snooping. On, I'm not going to mention who it was or what it was, but I was doing a bit of snooping on different like courses to get like ideas of the landscape and that kind of thing. And I downloaded a like a syllabus that they asked the students to get before signing up and that kind of thing. And the filthy plugin was on it. I was like, get out of here. That was like a cool little find in the wild. Christian, what's going on, dude? Can you draw me? Oof. I can. And I have. I don't know where that... Let me find it. Is it... anywhere? No. Oh no, it's in the Proco one. No, don't have that on me. I already have. Doesn't mean I can't do it again though. All right. Gamer, what's going on? Julia, I think I might have said hello to you as well already, but double hello to you. All right, let's peruse. Let's see what tickles our fancy. What am I looking for? I'm looking... I don't know what I'm looking for, if I'm perfectly honest. Something interesting. Something that's going to push me a little bit. Something that is... I don't know, like... Are we going to go landscapey? Are we going to go... figure, character-y? I wouldn't mind doing a bit of figure stuff, but I also wouldn't mind doing a bit of landscaping. I'm going to save this one real quick. Un momento, por favor. Oh, the audios? How is the audio, everyone? Let me know. Because sometimes I just mumble. As my lady tells me, oftentimes I tend to mumble. Let's have a look. Let's have a look. Let's have a look. Let's go into our vault. I've also started a dinosaur Pinterest thingy, so you know what that means. I'm going to be collecting a lot of images of dinosaurs. All right. Do we want to do these ones? We did a bit of that last week. We just need to... All right, this is what you can get stuck in. This is not a bad idea. Or not like a bad thing of like, all right, you're sitting down, you want to study, but you don't want to study. Ideally, we have a goal, but today we don't have a goal. So we're just going to have to... We're just going to have to roll with it. We're going to choose, all right? We're going to give ourselves 20 seconds. I really don't like this, but like, all right, give ourselves 20 seconds. We've got to choose something and we've got to start studying. All right, timer's on now. It's like a bloody roulette. 20 seconds. What's jumping out to me? What's jumping out to me? Come on, give me something. We're probably up to around 3 seconds, maybe. Potentially. Come on, give me something. Give me something. Maybe around 10 seconds now. about 12 seconds. Come on. All right, he's got a bit of attitude. Start off. We'll use this. Figure. Go. I like the pose. Is this a contrapposti? Whatever it's called. Nah, no. Oh, it is a little bit. Le contrapposto. All right. Everyone. I should probably throw this in so everyone can do it. So I'm not just hoarding the reference. Stream. Figure reference. Now there's some subtleties here, which is going to be a little bit tricky. Right, and let's see. Let's actually see if you guys on bloody Instagram. You know what? You know what? You know what? We need pure ref. Whack open the old PR. Stream figure reference. Share the link into chat. There you go. Then we got this one. All right. Now let's look at what we're going to be trying to do here, okay? What are we trying to do here, Ben? Answer me this. Alright, where's got my flat, flowy, brush settings, shape dynamics. You don't need any of this. I'm just something with pen pressure. A little bit of, you know, push and pull. A little bit of thick to thin. Something. Alfan, how you doing? Alright, so what am I seeing? Marlon, what's going on? Yeah, I've got to scooch this down, unfortunately, Instagram, because of my thingy. But I'll scooch you up to compensate. There you go. And then there you go. You're welcome. All right. But if you want the full thing, you want the full deal, want the real deal, hop over to YouTube. Instagram, you didn't hear me say that. All right. Gesture, figure, fun, fun, fun. Let's go. A little bit of a time limit, but I'll let you decide that time limit. But what am I seeing? What I really want to look at here? I'm seeing this. Now, what really confused me, and it still does if I'm completely honest, if I'm being really, really honest, like this, when I see people do like these lines, they're gonna mean different things to different people, right? Like this here isn't the outside of a hip or anything for me. This is just like a general, like this is like the stable foot, the idea more so. All right. She's like that, tucked in a little bit there, like the hand is tucked behind. Hair, knee, Christian knee, then leg coming towards us, and then this foot is going to be a little bit in perspective, right? This is like the subtleties that we got to contend with. Now I'm pushing these shapes. You can go as realistic and close to the reference as you like. You can go more, you can go less. Whatever you feel like doing. Just doing little gesture warm-ups. Okay. Now what's happening here? I'm going back in space. There's going to be a connection point here. Now the arms always used to confuse the shit out of me. How, like I used to be like, okay, cool. Because you see this a lot. You got like, okay, you got the torso, and then you just throw the arm out like that. But what happens here? Right, that always used to confuse me. So learning just a smidge, just a tiny little bit of the old anatomy, right? Just the understanding of the pec can help. And it might be a good start for anatomy. It's like, all right, I want to understand where these insertion points of the arm are going to be. All right? Because the pec comes over here, wraps underneath the deltoid, and then that gives that sort of T line. And then we can erase this little section in here, and now it's connected somewhat in a way that kind of makes sense, even in this more sketchy kind of way, right? It's not just sort of stuck on. All right. Hands on hips. Attitude on the head. So this, I'm seeing the slight tilt. Head here, right? Neck. Boom, boom, which gives it that little like, not having it. Right, so I'm seeing then this, it's so subtle though, it's really subtle. So it can sometimes be hard, but here comes that pec again. Behind. All right, and then we can see there's like that bony elbow. Bring that through, and then we can add all the meaty bits after if we want to. Or we keep her as a skeleton, whatever you want to do. It's your drawing, you do what you want. But this is like a study really in subtleties. It's not like a crazy pose. This always used to, and still often does, trip me up like a fair lot. Let the line go with the flow. Orkin, you're not wrong. Sometimes you got to create the flow. Sometimes you don't even know what's going on with the flow. Sometimes the flow isn't a flow. Sometimes you're going against the flow. Right, so this has come towards us. This is kind of going back a little bit. Now this is a very long lens, okay? So there's not a lot of distortion. There's not a whole lot of perspective with the camera or the overall, like the subject, for example. Okay, Sam, what's going on, dude? We've got to catch up, man. The audio is too quiet. Every time. I don't touch any of this stuff. I think it's probably my talking, if I'm honest. Up, up, up. Test, 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 test. I don't want to blow anyone's ear holes out, though. Testing, testing. Alright. How's that, Chris Money? So, with the long lens... Alright, if we're going to do a cube. Right, long lens, like the ultra, the longest of the long lens, is very far away. Imagine you're like so far away from it. Right? That's what the cube would look like. But then as you have a wider lens, the cube is going to, like say this is the horizon line, the cube is going to sort of show more and more and more in perspective, right? And then if you have like a ultra wide, what are all these little bloody lines doing? Sounds better now? Fantastic. Right, if we go like super wide, right? We're like we're really up close to it, fisheye style, right? But the horizon's still approximately around here, whatever, it doesn't really matter. Right, so this is where we're at with this pose. It's not like an extreme kind of pose, and that's why you're not going to get a whole lot of difference. Like, we're not going to be looking really like super on top. It's not the longest of lenses. It's like somewhere between here and here. It's further away. Right, that's why you're not going to be seeing like the top of the feet. Like this. Like really, really top of the feet. And then seeing underneath the chin if this was like a long lens, right? So it's like as I was saying, like a study in subtleties. Hopefully that makes sense. That's what I'm thinking about anyway. Whether it makes sense or not, that's a whole other thing. But yeah, hope your weeks have been going well. So yeah, the launch of the applications for the workshop went well. A lot of back of house stuff though. A lot of sending emails. A lot of making sure stuff isn't broken. A lot of sending the wrong links to wrong people. But we're learning. The bone brew, you bang on time. So this is more of like a realistic study, right? A little bit more of a on the realism side of the spectrum. Now, if we were to, do we want to challenge ourselves? What if we were to attempt, we'll just do it gesturally. This could blow up in our faces, but you know what? That's what this is all about, right? Let's try a more of the same reference. Let's think to ourselves. If we were to do like a real long, a wide lens, right? So we'll have this kind of perspective going on. What's that gonna look like? So we might even see underneath. All right, the jaw, ears, hair. I don't even know how possible this would be. Prashant, what's going on, dude? How'd that sword one go? I saw that in a Discord notification. Has that been done yet? Or is that coming up? And feel free to talk about it. That is if I didn't dream about it. I didn't just make that up in my head. So if not, disregard. All right, so the horizon line is still going to be in the middle. So this is kind of tricky. I haven't practiced this a lot, so this could just... But using our deduction skills, our first principles, thinking. What are we doing? What are we gonna... We're not relying on the reference. What are we looking at here? We know that the perspective is going to be wrapping around this way because we're looking upwards, all right? It's going to be wrapping downwards because we're looking down. We'll probably see less of the feet here, if I'm honest. I'm being 100% truthful with you. Something more like that. Torso, we're going to see more like this. All right, looking up. Arms are going to be coming backwards here. This is such a good exercise. A pain in the ass sometimes, and it stresses me out. And it's very tricky, but so worth it. Do you happen to actually browse the Discord pretty often, Ben? I dropped in some things I was messing around with on Nomad Sculpt. I have to say, I'm loving the feeling of sculpting. Sculpting's fantastic. I do hop in there from time to time. I've been absolutely flat out, and I do hop in there. I'll have to check it out, Bone Brew. Yeah, sculpting is so much fun. It's on Tuesday. All right, just a fun Lightbox Discord event. We make a sword together. Awesome. Feel free to put in the times and everything, Prashan. Is that for everyone or is it only for Lightbox attendees? Happy Pixel. Hey, Ben, just want to stop by and say you're a great motivation. Oh, you're too kind. That's it. I'll go back to the shadows now. You have fun in those shadows. Remember, add a little bit of saturation in those shadows, right? To keep it feeling a little less muddy with your colors. Oh, that's fucking terrible. Oh, I want to take that back. Put those words back into my mouth. How cringy. Jesus. Things I need to do before sitting down to sketch right now. Roll, schedule, grab a bite, then I'll be following along tonight. But are you framing sketch for composition sake? No, this is just learning. This is just like a perspective. For perspective's sake. Right? Trying to push my thinking of where shapes would be. And we might even whip out some color in a minute. Like, I don't know what's going on with this. Like that hand, what even is that? I need more coffee before that level of I know. I thought of it. I was like, oh, well, that's going to be a clever little ditty. That I was like, nah, wrong. If you want to unsubscribe, I completely understand. It's my fault. I would not blame you. Alright, so if we were to, again, think about those pectoralis muscles, we're not going to see much of the shoulder. See, this is the tricky thing with perspective. You almost always want to show too much of what would actually be shown, right? And I actually think this head, I mean, we're working with like 3 pixels here. I don't know why I've decided to do it on a small scale, but my modeling event is on Tuesday, 10 a.m. PST in the Lightbox Discord. Feel free to join us if you're up for 3D modeling. Go for it, guys. if it wasn't in the middle of the night, for me, I would join along as well. So this is looking jank. This breaks the illusion right here. Can we break it down into its simplest forms? Does it matter what program I use? Ah, question for Prashant. You answer that, Prashant. Go for it. The cool thing is, I'm just gonna jump in. A lot of the 3D stuff, once you understand the basics, just like with anything, right? They can kind of translate fairly easily. Okay, cylinder going back in space here, right? Then we need to connect this to this. Going back in space. Backwards, backwards. Get back. Better. Not amazing, but better than it was. Right, and we get this T line, which I've talked about. Oh, I cannot wait to get back into YouTube. I've got plans and plans and plans. Oh, believe you me. I mean, we're on YouTube right now, but you know what you know what I mean. Fala, thank you so much. Thanks for popping in. Appreciate you. Fourth, what's going on? All right, so you see what I'm doing? Simplifying it down. I get stuck all the time. I get stuck. I'm like, this doesn't look good. So we erase with no issue to just completely get rid of it. I'm not precious about it because you know what? I'm not learning if I just keep it there. There is a time to keep and push through, but there is also a time just to get rid of it. And this arm's way too low as well. But that's okay. Yeah, I'm sculpting with no idea what some tools do. When I realize, oh, I can remesh this to make it smoother, was like in the last 5 minutes of a 3 hours ago. Oh, welcome to just pure bliss. The remesh tool. But the thing is, you could do that in Blender and in like Nomad as well. Going into more of a, worm's eye, depending on where the horizon is. Right, just trying to push the shapes. It is bloody tricky. We're just warming up though. I do feel like doing a little bit of color, but I haven't drawn in a little while. Also, I'll give you a little preview of what I'm going to be posting later on tonight. So this is something. What? So this is something. I kind of completely redid like yesterday. Well, not completely, but like a large portion of it. So if we look here, there's a couple of things I'm focusing on. So this was from imagination as well. So there was no real reference to go off of, but it's kind of going through that sort of first principles, understanding the why behind stuff and blah, blah, blah. But you notice one thing. I pull this up as well because I can see it here. There's like a bit of light fall off, right? You notice that she's lit by some sort of light source here, right? And it's very like clear that there's a light source here, but it kind of falls off. All right, same local value, right? Same skin here, but it's sort of, there's a bit of a fall off. And that could be used as like a tool to like, okay, do you want to look at her belly button? I don't know, if you're a bit weird maybe, but like, I want all the focus to be up here, and that's why I like the most contrast. If we were to do something like this, you can see that really slight fall off here. A way to tell that is if we look at the angle, say, of this leg, same sort of skin tone, same angle to the light, right? But very different values. This looks a heck of a lot brighter, right? So that's a bit of the fall off. So I thought I'd mention that. Appreciate it, Anko. Yeah, I'll bounce like, oh, don't even get me started. Saves the day, I tell you what. If you're looking to make something look believable, bounce light is truly where it's at. All right, so we're looking up. Here, this is gonna, I'm spending way too long on this. We need to get another. I'm gonna cheat. There you go. What are you gonna do? Don't tell anyone. All right. Good little exercise. On to the next. I think the head should be smaller though, because it is pretty extreme perspective. And that head, even the torso and everything, I think that should actually be scooched. Whoa. Excuse me, can I get that back, please? Thank you. That should be scooched back in here. So the widest part, that makes it look a little bit more correct, if you're asking me. But no one really asked, so. The red bounce light is really nice. Sorry, I misread that. Yeah. And that's like then a matter of decision making on the color of the clothes and that sort of stuff, right? Look at this fella. Oh, we don't have the bottom of his face. That's fine. That's fine. Icles, hey man, going for a job interview today. Wish me luck. Best of luck to you. You're going to nail it. Ben, thoughts on comp? Like any preferred shots from filmmakers, illustrators, or otherwise you think would immediately, when I say composition? I mean, you got that fella that likes a lot of pastel colors and everything that's like symmetrical. Oh, Alfie, you bloody legend. Good idea. I'm going to do another. I'm kind of in the sketching flow, right? So I'm going to do that. But that's a good idea. We're going to check this in. We're going to check our working out in Blender afterwards. We're going to use the tools at our disposal. Good call, Alfie. Wes Anderson, you know what I was talking about. Pastel colors and symmetry. That's who it like. I think like composition, but yeah, it's not in my like directors and stuff. I'm really not too clued in with. Luffy Sun God, what do you think of using AI in your art to do the line art and coloring? Because someone told me to try doing that if I have problems with bounce light and color theory. I mean, you can do what you want. I personally, if you're trying to learn, it wouldn't really teach me anything. You know? I would try and do it I would always try and do it myself to understand the why, right? If you want more of that like hands-off approach, which is kind of I'd imagine why you're asking about the AI, I would almost take a photo. Get your phone camera, right? Whatever you're watching this on. Unless you're on a computer, then in that case, you know what I'm saying? Get a phone camera, get a light source somewhere, right? Use another phone or like a torch. Get an object, get a surface, shine the torch on the surface, and see what happens, right? You got to learn a million times more than that, because also the AI could get it wrong. They could make it look visually appealing, potentially, or not, but it could be like, it could really not be correct. So it's kind of, it's really hard to say what it would actually spit out. Hopefully that makes sense. Lazy sketch guy, what's going on? All right, I'm going to do a torso thing of this fella, but I'm going to push. I like the haircut and the mustache. So what do I see here? I see, also, no offense to this fella. If you're watching this, we know you are. I'm just playing. This is not a reflection on you. Actually, let's get the whole, like, I see this. I see that, like, axe. That's what I see, right? At the moment. Ah, yes, no matter what film it is, I know his films in every single trailer. Dude is a master. Yeah, 1000%. What about you, Bone Brew? What do you reckon? What's your... I do like Guy Ritchie movies, but I don't know if that's from a subject matter kind of thing versus, you know, directorial composition and that kind of thing. But I do like his vibe. British gangster sort of movies. My favorite of all time, Legend. Like, I don't know if you guys have seen that, but such a bloody good movie. Now, even though this is stylized, we do want to set it in a little bit of, not reality, but just a little bit of something that makes sense. You can get away with certain things, right? I'm really just thinking about the neck placement. Cheapest, easiest way, flashlight and paper, yeah. Or if you're driving, and like, I always catch this every now and then when it's like the perfect sunlight, the ray of sunshine coming through the window, it like hits my arm, and it's like turning my arm into like a peach colored light source that then reflects onto whatever surface. If it's like a white countertop, I'm just like, haha, I know what's happening there. And also, quick little tidbit. Did you ever notice, like, say if you're driving, the sun, this is also for lighter skinned people like myself, but even like the light hitting your like arm or something, but then reflecting onto your leg, and it's like super saturated, or like it's just like really like a really saturated sort of color. It's because it's literally turned into like a light peachy colored light source that's reflecting onto another peachy colored light skin that's then turning into another peachy colored light source. So it's just like peach colored light inception. So that's why it gets a lot more saturated, and it doesn't just stay like sunlight neutral, you know what I mean? That was a massive like aha moment for me. If you want to learn process, using AI isn't a good way to approach it since it can make mistakes, and it's pretty lazy thing to do. Yeah, that would be my main concern, is the mistakes that it would make. Check out real physics in the real world. That's your best bet. Second thing is crack open Blender. I've been really getting a kick out of 3D for lighting things in weird ways. Yeah, because you don't realize how much, excuse me, how much lighting things can affect the overall look and feel to it. Like you have underlight, like you see the typical ones though, like you've seen them before, like the underlighting and all that kind of stuff. The side lighting, but if you get in like, and then you change the light size, and then it changes this whole thing completely. Because then you've got like soft light that doesn't show the forms very well. And then you could almost, that's like, I think it's also part of the reason why in some photos and stuff you can look like a completely different person. Christopher Nolan, yep, is a master of making the entire film into one long scene, which is so very hard to explain from a viewer standpoint. But I think Tenet is my favorite version of Chris Nolan. Come, I can check that out. I haven't seen that yet. Excuse me, a bit late to the party. The way he uses the red-blue framing in an extremely subtle way, but it's mad power from a storytelling standpoint. I've got to get more into storytelling. That's for sure. That's cool. I like that. Kaneki Kun, how you doing? Great to have you. Spoop, welcome, my friend. I think this fella should have a little bit of a taller head. That feels right. Maybe. I don't know. We're just playing at this stage. We've got a tiny bit of likeness here, but that's not the goal. And how I'm getting the likeness of this in particular is the eye angle. Alright, I'm just observing his eye angles. He's got like a little bit more of a crease here. Similar to kind of what I've got. My eyes sort of droop down. The most important part. Mustache. Now, the thing is here, I'm going to be talking about something that I haven't before. Shapes and 3D thinking. But even the mustache, right? That's got to whip around on a 3D surface, you know? Even though we're just playing around. It doesn't have to, mind you. It doesn't have to, but that's what I like to do. I like to have a little bit of... It's all to do with your stylistic preferences. So he's got his fade there. I'm going to just make his hair just a bunch of chunky bits. We're going to do a bit of drawing. I haven't done it in a little bit. Just some lines is good fun. Now with this part of the, we could fake it and we could just be like, all right, this is good enough. This is fine. Like the back of his head, like with his neck and stuff. But what we've actually got to think about, or what I like to think about a little bit more, if we were to look at the front on view, right, and simplify the shapes. This is like the arc or the arch, right? And that's going to have form and the neck goes here, right? And if we were to look at the side view, right, there's that arc, right? But it's on the side view. Now, if we were to do the 3/4 view, which is kind of what we're doing here, we've got to think about this on how we're drawing through everything. And this is how you get things to look. This is how you can reverse engineer some of your problems as well. I don't just like talking about simple shapes just because they help me out a ton. Right, so if I was to do this in a different color, whoa, get back here. Right. So we'd say like the neck's here. That's one shape. Right, so start at the back of the head. Back of the head, let's say it's connected here. There's the neck. Right, and here's that trap kind of shape. I want to think about how that connects to this side. It's not going to start up here. It would be easy just to follow that line and arc it up here. But this, it wouldn't, at the angle that it's at, it's too high. And that's what trips me up a lot. So if I was to find that kind of center line of the back of the neck, bring it back down, it would drop down a little bit here. Right. And then we got to follow that arc of the clavicles and all that fun stuff. I hope that makes sense. I don't know if it does because it's a little bit sketchy. Oh no. Did it on the same layer. Did it on the same layer. Of course I did. Undo. Let's see how many undos we're going to do Photoshop. You're going to save me on this one? Ah, nice. Alright, so I do want to think about, alright, where does this insert, or where is this stopping on this side? The trap, clavicle coming here, back in space, and that's where this side is. Happens to all of us. Ugh. Happens to me all the bloody time. How could I even simplify this more? So if we were to, I mean, we cube it up. Cube it up. Right, if we were to, and I'll sometimes just do this, just as a reminder to myself, like never stop learning. Never stop testing yourself, you know. If we were to throw the neck out here, look how much of the back of that cube isn't shown. Right? Because the neck's in the way. Now if we were to sculpt this a little bit more to get the clavicle kind of shape and more of that sort of boxy, torso-y kind of shape. Right? And then maybe arc this up, so like halfway up the back of the neck. Okay, there's our trap. All right, we're going to follow that through. Where is this landing in the back of that cube? Like there, we barely even see any of it, right? Then the clavicle here, clavicle back there. And then you'd have the arm coming back. So this is where all this construction and stuff comes in. So bloody handy. I tell you what. You ever notice you are redrawing an eye when drawing the shoulder girdle? Talk to me. Explain to me that. Redrawing the eye. I guess it's like you could do it as like a sphere. But yeah, hopefully that makes sense. I think I might know what you're talking about, Bone Brew. Instead of swear jar, maybe a same layer jar. Look, swear jar's going to send me broke. Okay, so I don't think we're going to be doing that. Same layer jar, I can deal with. Same layer jar. I can handle. We could even, because he doesn't have that big of a jaw here. We could just... we could do that. I mean, this is where you could just have fun with it, right? We could just do like... here, but he's just got the neck that just goes for days. I quite like that. Could even push it. Let's push it more. It looks a little bit... I mean, it looks silly. Alright, so this is before. Maybe somewhere in between, actually. Because he does have that kind of chin. Maybe there, that's fine. We're not trying to go for likeness. Got to make him wider. All right, then, Guns. You're always wanting to push the shapes. How wide can we make this fella? There you go. How's that one? Can you put the images up of screen? We cannot watch the draw. Oh, my apologies. That should be a little bit better, hopefully. Maybe his head we can like double width that. But then we got to take into account everything else, you know. So if we do head width, then we could do body width. That just looks stupid. What does it? I don't know. When we start putting the puzzle pieces together, push the shape smaller head. Alright, let's give it a whirl. Let's give it a whirl. More. But we need it. We need to balance it, right? How do we balance it? This connection point has to make sense. This is my workout goal. Just I mean, I could get the mustache pretty quickly if I'm honest. So there's that. I think we can actually play around with the steepness of this. So instead of as muscular as like massive shouldery, it's kind of just like a little bit fluffier. It's not a bag of snakes this time, Forth. That's right. Definition of built built like a house. That's right. Did his head get smaller or did his muscles get bigger? Gamer? There's a question that I don't think we'll ever know the answer to. But it's worth asking. Peak physique. Tiny graphics tablet. I mean, do we even do like traps? Like, all right, where's that connect? Well, we've got to make sure the connection point makes sense. We don't have to, but I'd like to if that's okay. He seems like he's trapped. It's kind of a little bit sad, if I'm honest. He's just like, oh, trapped. Oh my God, I didn't mean that, but like. Hero, what's going on? Great to have you. He needs poofier hair. All right. Dude, we're designing by committee here. And I'm liking it. Poofier hair. I would like to just accentuate that mustache. Just for clarity, just so we know what's going on, right? He went and got himself a perm. Maybe he's got like, yeah, the back of his head, maybe everything's sort of like pushed forward a little bit, styled. So it's all poofy in the front. He's loving himself though. You can tell that, that's for sure. Oh, you're taking the car? Oh, Hero, nice one. Ah, looking forward to having you. The new Hulk in the MCU. You know, he kind of looks like freaking, what's his face? Pedro Pascal. The amount of things that guy's in, I wouldn't doubt it. If he's also the Hulk. Pedro Pascal Hulk version. The massive us. Oh fuck, Thumb Gun's coming in. Coming in with the goods. I like it. Oh, I meant to ask, are you releasing the class on Gumroad eventually? Probably not the live classes, but I'll be releasing. I'm making an on-demand course for grey matter and like all the light and value. But that's not coming out for a while. But that's like the plan. But for those that are looking to do the workshop and all the one-on-one seat, you get that for free, lifetime access before it's dropped. You could even help shape the thing. Yeah, I'm liking this, dude. Good call. Thank you, everyone, for getting me to push the shapes and my limits. There's a lesson to be learned there. Make the head bigger and the body... No, make the head smaller and the body bigger. And make the nipple smaller as well. Those are the real lessons. I like it. Okay. He looks kind of sad, like maybe we should have him less sad. Nah, or is he just smug? Is he just like, I don't know. Nonchalant would be the word. Nah, I don't like him with a smile. I like him just a little bit like... Thank you for your compliments. Yes, I do work out. For some reason he's Spanish, I don't know. Well, I love... Yeah, wait, how do we get the course when it hits? From a content business production side of things, your product should have 9 lives. No. From a content / business production side of things, your product should have 9 lives. 9 lives. Wouldn't the live class be the core? That method, so lesser workload for you on that. So wouldn't the live class be the core of the light course by that method? So lesser workload for you on that. Are you saying like instead of making the course afterwards? Is that what you mean? Like the on-demand one? Yeah, but I've got a clear like on-demand and live are 2 very different beasts, I think. At least from experience. At least from my experience. because the big benefit of the live as well is that I'm there to answer any question as soon as it comes through. Yeah, repurposing the live course. Yes, I don't think so. But it's, I mean, from like it's not a bad thought, Bone Brew. Like, definitely, I know that people do that. If anything, it's going to give me clarity working with people live to like test my assumptions as well as to like how to explain certain things. Because it's all well and good because I'm just sitting here in the office at Ben Eblin's studios, just doing my best to explain stuff. But it's going to be, I can't wait to do the live thing. But one step at a time, though. One step at a time. I tend to bite off more than I can chew a lot of the times. I find that interesting because often I go back to your older live streams and find sometimes people ask questions that will cause you to go into spiel and explain something really well. Yeah, and it's so sporadic though. That's the thing. But yeah, as I said, it's not a bad thought, and I wouldn't rule it out completely, but it would be, yeah, I don't know. I just don't want to make any promises, you know. Is this Katya? I mean, I know it's Katya. I see it's Katya. But is Katya that I emailed just earlier? If not, disregard it. Ah, how you doing? Nah, looking forward to having you join. "4 a.m. Man, good morning. Now, let's not, I don't want to give him a tank top. No, we'll keep him here. Beautiful. All right. Let's do a bit of this. Sam Kelly, how you doing? Happy Monday. I'm in Madrid time watching your lives in the morning after. I know there's a lot of time zones suck so bad. No, I appreciate it. No, I really do appreciate it. The Procreate demos where questions are being spliced in during explanation or after. I could do something like that. That I could see working really well. No, for sure. Because yeah, all my goal is to make it the most useful thing I can possibly put together. So it's a very good thought, Bone Brew. So this also, when there's like a block from a, let's say, line work perspective, right? And there's just like a block of like dark color like we've got here, right? Just his hair. It's not a bad idea to come back through. I think I've mentioned this a few times. I'll guarantee I have. Just with the eraser to even like just indicate some of these individual little bubbles of or clumps of hair, you know. Also depends on the style, right? All right, I'm just gonna have fun, not go, but like, let's see what we can do with this guy. All right, so we're under the line work, filthy plugin. All right, while we're here, let's play. Does your plugin autofill? It certainly does. I don't know how many people actually like, because I've talked to a few people in person about the name of it, the filthy plugin. Used to practice in gouache, Ben. I haven't been. Oh, actually, I'll show you something. I'll show you something real quick. Reminded me. Actually, back in 2 minutes. I'll back in 2 minutes. Okay. Uno momento. Hello again. Fancy seeing you here. Me and my lady, we did like a little Christmas in July thing, and we had like a little dessert thing. We had like watercolors and stuff. They're like the cheapest little watercolors ever. I was like pretty happy with utilizing the core principles of light and value in the real world. Yeah, I hadn't touched the traditional stuff in forever. But even like it was like the cheapest little watercolor set. But yeah, I really, because you can get so much for free that you have to really struggle with digital. Like the color variation and the texture there, focus, right? Just getting those greens and those yellows and the reds. It's so much easier just to put a little bit of this, put a little bit of that but with digital, you've really got to like work for it. There's trade-offs to both, right? Or was that more so doing traditional to better understand color overall and something you'll only go back to from time to time? I want to fold it into more of my work moving forward. Definitely, I just haven't had time. Well, I haven't wrong. I haven't prioritized it. On that oil paint grind yet? Soon. Soon. Do you not use clipping masks? Use Filthy for efficiency? I use both. Filthy is like really an efficiency tool because you can turn it off and just do this only with the lasso tool. Fill it in. Whoa. That just changes the whole vibe of him. You can fill it in. Paint bucket tool, you know. But I just wanted it to be like boom, 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 like so quick. Thanks, guys. Yeah, I was pretty happy with that apple. I'm not gonna lie. I was like, ooh, way overkill. I spent like a little bit too much time for what it was meant to be. Also, hold on. Now this one didn't turn out as good, but we've got a little dog called Winnie. He's a little Shih Tzu. It was his 14th birthday yesterday, and our challenge was to paint our version of Winnie, and this is how I see him. Always going in the pantry. Just his little bum. Always trying to get treats. Got metallic ones. Cheap. But so pretty. Yeah, watercolors are wicked, eh? So tricky because you've got to leave the white out. Like you can't touch you've got to really pre-plan a whole bunch of stuff, which is cool. Have you seen Adilson Farias? He's a watercolor artist, but he has created brushes. And there is a whole digital watercolor process. It's so much more complicated as you need to replicate it. Yeah. All right, let's have I'll note that down because I'd like to get a little bit more of like a traditional feel in some of my stuff. Thank you for the suggestion. I know that Lucas Penoir I can't remember his last name. He's come out with a bunch of traditional ones as well. All right, back to old mate Pedro Pascal. Okay, what are we doing here? What's our... Now, I don't know how far we're going to be able to go with this. It's 12 p.m. here. We'll go for another half hour, 45 probably, I reckon. I reckon we can do that. Lucas Painador, that's the one. Yes. Yeah, he's been hammering those for a while. He's been knocking out a bunch of them. Yeah, I know, right? Yeah, they do look really good, don't they? Also, for those that are in chat and are going to the workshop, I'm working on a little brush pack as well. I'm just trying to get it feeling good so that everyone's somewhat consistent, but you can feel free to use whatever brushes you want. But the annoying thing is, I made them in Photoshop. I'm trying to get them to feel right in Procreate. Good luck. Takes a while. You just hit the sore spot of a brush. Yeah. Because I want to get... So this is no blending one, which is nice. It's just like straight up, boom, boom, boom. Where are we? What has happened? Where are we? Oh, was I erasing? No, I wasn't. Something weird is happening. Oh, okay. Yep. This is what is happening. Oh, it's screen. I'm on a screen layer mode. So this is the issue with screen with layer mode. Sometimes you forget that they're on layers, that you're on layer modes, and then you spend the next 5 minutes trying to figure out what you're doing. Yeah, they're nothing crazy fancy, but I just wanted to give an opportunity to get everyone on the same page, you know. But for those that aren't in the workshop, I'll release these. As well. I was also playing around with like a sneaky occlusion. This one's being a pain with me, because I mean this is not where my, you can't even see it, but it's not where my brush is, like where my actual brush is. You know, like it's super useful for like knocking in a little bit of this, the occlusion stuff and everything, but it's a pain in the ass to actually, it's actually not that useful at the moment because it's not laying down the stuff that I want it to. Forget 50 plugins, all you need is filthy plugin. Thank you, Orkin, your check's in the mail. My rule for life, there are never too many books or brush packs. At least one of those brushes would be the one you actually... Turns out it's like you end up just coming full circle back to the Photoshop standard brushes. And I've got a little bit of a texture boy here. Nothing wrong with a bit of texture. Oh, because I'm now on a multiply layer mode again. We've got to be careful with these layer modes. Limit your tools, limit your subject, limit your scope. Restriction breeds creativity. Limit your life. But I don't disagree with that. I don't entirely disagree with that. I actually don't disagree with that at all. Might be a bit sunburnt, maybe. Maybe not. So this is giving me more like cell shaded kind of vibes, right? Well, let's do a layer mask on the largest shape. That can help us out a little bit, I think. But also, most of the things that you see on stream are like these quicker sort of efforts. Something like this takes like multiple days just to give you some, like I don't just whip this out in an afternoon, right? Look, I'm terrible with decision paralysis, so I have to hide all my brushes. I'm not using. That's not a terrible idea, Bonebrew, you know? Know thyself, right? And I just put my hot mug on chewing gum. I don't know if you see that. Oh, lovely. All right, where are we? What are we doing? Who are we? Crimes Against Coffee. I was smelling this like mint whiff. I'm like, what the f? Of a like, well, yeah, put on bloody chewing gum. Because I didn't want to be chewing gum on stream. Because that would not be very nice. That'd be bloody annoying. Alright, so I'm kind of focusing that light just a bit. Don't know really where I'm going yet. Okay. Let's remove that layer. What's the time to? Got a meeting at 2:30. It's one of those annoying ones because it's kind of like it's right in between times, so I can't really get into any like substantial sort of flow because it's soon going to be disrupted. He is stacked. All right, thank you, Orkin. I know, right? You start whipping some values on him, and you just, oof. There's a lot of things here that I'm thinking about at the same time. I'm thinking about values, material, specular, first name, last name. The way I see it, brushes are like your mouse sensitivity. If you're always messing around with it, then your hand never learns the precise muscle memory that goes with it. And once the novelty wears off, you just end up frustrated. I like that first name. Good call. I'm also thinking about some of the local values, because not every, like, seldom do you have a, particularly an organic material that has one flat, like, local value, right? Get these eyes feeling rounder, or more round, let's say. If we were to use the Queen's English, boom, boom, boom. Nice one. I like his little mouth. Catch you later, Katia. Thanks for popping in. And all the details will be sent soon as well, with all the Zoom links and the Discords and all that sort of stuff. I also think if you can, for those that are trying to, particularly the bone brew, what you're talking about, if you can get yourself to a level of proficiency to do something like this, it's going to help a ton with understanding just like form in general, you know, in whatever characters that you're sculpting. They don't have to be even this style, right? But just getting into a little bit of the like texture painting and that kind of stuff, because here it's very, very subtle, right, from a color perspective. But you've probably seen that like yellow, red, and blue, like temperatures of the face or whatever. That's in here. Right, that's all in here, but so subtly. I think if I can even, I don't know if YouTube Paint's going to want to open. Hello? Oh, here we go. I should have done all these lines probably with grease pencil, but anyway, I digress. No. So that's all. That's the layer of the line work. That's the pause. I think it might even be lower. Variation. No. Yeah, yellow, red, blue, right? See, it just looks a little bit flatter, a little bit more plasticky in a way, but I do have a little bit of that color variation. Right, so that's even less of that variation in here, a little bit less of the pink in the skin and that kind of stuff. But as soon as I whip those back on, add that back, just seeing it in action, I don't know, there's something to it. I might do a tutorial about this at some stage because I find it super useful. You can even see where I was a bit lazy with like not finishing up the transition of the back of the head. Appreciate it, Walken. But this is really fun, this one. I posted it on Twitter and everyone's like, it's Mr. Incredible. And I'm like, look, I'm not going to say that I was not inspired by the Mr. Incredible shapes by any stretch of the imagination. I love them. I grew up on that. The Incredibles. But this is where, that being said, this is where we can bring in a little bit of that color variation here. The yellow. Like, but it's not like a rule. It's like there's no rules, you know? It's more of like a suggestion, and it's going to really depend on the skin tone as well. And let's say like add a little bit of that yellow here, or the red. And because he's male as well, you can get a vibe for a little bit of that 5 o'clock shadow sort of deal. That's also going to depend on what level of sort of like coloring do you want to get to? You know, this is very like beginning stages of it, but you could simplify this right the way down. I see this poking out here. I almost would like to one, clean that up. But 2, catch that at first name, last name. Thanks for popping in. What am I trying to do? Like have it be like the little pokey outy ones. Maybe, maybe not. Sort of like your Salvador thingamajig. Does that look stupid or cool? I can't tell. Yeah, I was thinking of that, gamer. Because we got some lighting on it, right? We could come through and really sell it. Or it can look stupid, but we'll see momentarily. Then we could just play. And that's going to sort of fade off into nothingness. I got to think. I think that might actually come more out like that, maybe. Alright, I'll keep it. Just for you, gamer. He's a grumpy matador. I imagine a guy who works out enough to have this build would care about his appearance enough to spend the time to get a mustache like that. And that is called character building. Gamer heroine. And that's fantastic. I like it. Sturvy? What's going on? And we're doing the highlights. Don't be afraid to overshoot. Then come back later. And just feather them out. Little bit of this old thing. also known as a brow. Now he's popping. Few things that a good bit of rim light can't save. A bit glowy for my liking. Now we're going to pick out a little bit of this hair. I don't often like to use a smudge tool too much, but it does help. Just make some of these things just feel a lot more rounded. Now we can give that illusion of them being like little curls. Almost like a roll. Because we've established that light source. Now we can play. Now, because I want to make the hair feel like it's actually coming over his head a little bit more, I think there is an argument to have that shadow a little bit further atop his head. El Padre Salvatore. Pedro, not Padre. There you go, Orchid. See, all the values hold up. Or they're holding up. Could be pushed a lot, if I'm honest, but... too saturated, I think. Alright, we're all on one layer. Now, one thing that I've really learned, also sorry if I scared you, I've been quiet for quite a while. One thing I've learned over the years is that the subtleties come a lot of times in the half tones or the mid tones. That's where that like really like, whoa, how does it look so real-ish, depending on what sort of style you're going for. How does that make any sense? It's all in these midtones. What's the best exercise to be able to use colors this well in a drawing? Exercise. Well, it depends what you want, right? If you're talking about this kind of stuff, I would say a good exercise would be to not use black or white for the highlights and shadows, whatever you're doing, and try and test yourself to see if you can achieve that. All right, not never, but like as a test. See if you can get away. See how I'm not just getting the skin tone and just reducing the brightness and then putting in the shadow. Right? I'm using another color that has a darker value to block in my shadows. Right? The same can be done with the lights. In fact, it probably would be better than what I've done here, which is just a lot more, or it's got a lot less color in the highlights. If I wanted to, I could scooch it up towards maybe the yellows. Right, even as it transitions around the form, we've got that sort of middle skin tone color instead of bringing it up, instead of just doing the highlights, what I mentioned before. Bring it closer to the yellows. And just play with that. How can you get the transitions working and flip between black and white? See, the values still stay the same. We've got a hint of that yellow in there now. All right. And of course, observe life, observe photo reference and that kind of thing to start seeing some of these color variations in real life. Like here, I don't like just doing like a flat skin tone. Oftentimes I'll see, and you'll probably see in this guy's, even though it's quite pixelated, you got a little bit of greens, like very slight greens around the eyes. Right, so how are we going to do that? One way to do it is to actually grey it down, so move a little bit more grey. Could also scooch closer to the greens as well to see how we go. And just mix that in for a bit of that variation. All right, and then we can start doing that throughout. Does that make sense? And even here, oftentimes there's a lot of purple. In this type of skin color, I'll put like a lot of purples, even more grays in here as well. So we still want to keep that value relationship. Even go down a little bit purplier. See, now we've got more greens, we've got yellows, and we've got sort of a little bit more purplish, but they don't read exactly as that. It's only in context, right? Some random person. Hi, so question, if you don't mind, I'm wanting to become an artist slash storytime slash commissioner social media person, and I'm kind of scared to start. So do you have any tips? The benefit you have at the moment, because you haven't started, is that no one knows of you yet. So you have a lot of freedom to experiment because there's no eyeballs on you at the moment. Right? So that I would take that into consideration while you're trying to craft the best piece of content or craft the highest, I don't know, viewed thing that you can, right? Know that you've got a benefit of not having eyeballs on you yet, because you can experiment. You can do a ton of stuff, throw it at the wall, see what sticks, and don't be precious with it. I would start tonight or today if you can. If you're scared, I don't know what you're scared of. There will be assholes, right? People will say stupid shit. You will get less views on certain posts than you would like. You will get more views on certain posts than you'd expect, right? But it all comes down to starting, because you're just sitting there and not doing it and not putting yourself out there. You haven't learnt anything. So say if you spent the next 3 months putting stuff out, right? If you spent the next 3 months being scared and not doing it, you're still in the same position. But if you put yourself out there and started doing for the next 3 months, at the very least, you've learned a hell of a lot. You've learned what might be working, what might not be working, right? And you can iterate. Hopefully that helps. Hopefully that makes sense as well. Because you don't know yet who your audience is. It's going to be very different from artist to artist, all right? Also, shout out a little bit of rim light. No, bounce light. Hello. No worries, some random person. Also, the amount that you enjoy the content that you're putting out and what you're doing content about is going to reflect in the content itself. It's just another tip as well. Try and enjoy what you're putting out instead of doing it for a particular purpose of getting views or etc, etc, etc. There's a fine line there. There's a balance there, but if you can lead with what gets you excited, that's gonna shine through in the content. There you go, Christian. That's what I was thinking about. You're welcome. Look at that. All right, guys. I reckon I'm going to leave it there. Thank you once again. Oh, hold on. These moustaches are truly uneven. We cannot have that. I might want to point them up a little bit, potentially. Who knows? We'll leave it there. We'll leave it there. Thank you again. If you guys are interested Where have I put it? Where are we? Boom, 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 boom. Got a couple of spots available. Applications are open for another 6 days. Grey matter, working in black and white. And lighting and understanding all that sort of stuff. And doing it all from imagination. Oh, and I forgot to add chat. I've just realized that. I forgot to add chat on the stream today. My apologies. But it's also your guys' fault for not letting me know. So yeah. Feel free to pop past. I believe there is only one one-on-one tier left. So if you want to scoop that up within the next 6 days, I'd recommend hopping in there quick. And yeah. With that, I reckon I'm going to say goodbye to you all. Thank you once again for joining me on my rambles, on my exploration of this dude. It's an absolute pleasure, as always. And I hope you have a great rest of your week. And these streams, for those that are new, happen every week. Monday, 10:45 Australian Central Standard Time. Thank you, Alfie. Appreciate you. Thanks for popping in. Thanks for the support. I believe it's 4 p.m. PST for the people in PST time. Every week, Sunday, 4 p.m. PST, Monday, 10:45 Australian Central Standard Time. All right, a bit of an eclectic little stream today, but we got some stuff done. All right, never got around to the camera view, Alfie, but oh no, I've got to get going. Unfortunately, I would like to though. Maybe we pick that up next week, but don't hold me to it because I say a lot of things like that. And sometimes they happen and sometimes they don't. You never know. You got to tune in next week to see what's going to happen. All right. I'll let you guys go. Have a good one. I'll catch you next week.